What's up, my boomers? It's me, Melanie Mac here. Thank you for hanging out with me today. And this is my new channel, Melanie Mac Go Boom, where I talk about social commentary, stuff about gaming, pop culture, whatever it may be. And it's been really fun. So, anyway, speaking of like channels, I did do my first stream as of late on my other YouTube channel, my gaming channel, just Melanie Mac. I'll have a link in the description. It's in my link tree if you want to check that out, because I was only able to stream for like a little over an hour of Elden Ring because I didn't have the game installed like an idiot. I was playing on PS5 and I thought that it was installed, but it was just downloaded and that was it. So I was only able to play a small portion of it, but I made my character, made her look as much like Lara Croft as I possibly could, plain samurai build too because I wanted the bow. But yeah, I'm going to get back to that tonight. I'm going to have to set an event for it. I don't really know how to do YouTube stream setups that well, so I'm going to try to get that set up after this, and then you guys can, maybe I'll link it in there. So if you want to watch, you can set the reminder and all that good stuff. But anyway, today's video, I wanted to talk about, so I made a video like not long ago about Lost Ark and how Kotaku was big mad about the hot women because they don't like hot women. And apparently Lost Ark replied to some of the backlash that the wokey crowd, who probably don't even play games that much at all, have said. And I'm going to read some of that. I want to thank Akinola on Twitter for tipping me off to this for today's video. So thank you. It means a lot when you guys tag me on relevant stories and stuff that you would like for me to talk about. Because sometimes I don't catch everything. I try my best, but, you know, I don't always do that. So let's go ahead and read this. Okay? Hold on. All right. Let's go ahead and give this a read. It says, Lost Ark developer shares absurd response to criticism of female characters. Okay, so Bryant here says it's an absurd response. They misunderstand the assignment. There's just the fact that he's using the TikTok vernacular makes me say I'm probably going to disagree with him on this piece. So Amazon Games has issued a statement to Eurogamer that responds to various criticisms about the Smilegate developed ARPG Lost Ark portrays its female characters. In the statement, franchise lead Suman Park makes promises to improve wardrobe and class options for the game's female characters, but also offers some absurd reasoning why it's retaining some sexist design decisions. Okay, so they're folding essentially to some degree, maybe not completely. And you know, here it is, it's never good enough. This is why I tell you, don't bow to the mob. Don't ever bow to the mob. Don't apologize. Don't try to do what they tell you to, because it will never be enough. It's all about control for them. So here they are saying they're going to give more options, outfit options and stuff like that, and it still ain't enough. He's still mad. It's a waste of time. Stop trying to appeal to these peeps. He's gonna play anyway. And like I said in my other video, girls, most of us like those outfits and stuff. So what they're gonna waste their time with more wardrobe options that most girls ain't even gonna use, and probably most dudes ain't gonna use either. I'd be very interested to see the statistics behind what everyone wants to use. So he says those sexist design decisions have been called out by players and critics alike. Let's see what the players... Okay, so there were some people on Twitter with, you know, relatively low engagement. There's one. Well, it's... I'm curious what comments are on this, though, because... Okay, I guess it's just jokes. Dude, wait, are these other tweets or... Oh, here we go. So they did roast it. Okay, that is a funny looking animation, I will say that, but I don't have a problem with the hot, sexy walk and stuff like that, but yeah.
That's the way she's walking.
It's the walks that I think that's cute though. You know, Yuna runs like that in Final Fantasy X too, at the very least. So it does look like some... Okay, this has pretty low engagement, but still. This looks like some people are... That's kind of funny, not gonna lie. Okay, I mean, it is a funny walk. I like how she looks, but... Let me see it again. Let me just... Yeah, that is funny. I will say that was a bit exaggerated. I wouldn't call it sexist, but it does look silly. I will say it does look silly. But I think people are making fun of it more so than calling it sexist, at least in those comments that I've seen. The core issues have to do with a strict gender divide for the game's different classes, imbalances in the game's wardrobe, and animation options for male and female characters. Instead of offering any transparency for why Smilegate RPG chose to limit its female characters to sexy wardrobes, Park offers a defense of players who prefer the original Korean version of Lost Ark as an appeal to authenticity. I mean, here's the thing, like, just make your games for your audience, dude. Don't apologize about it. Even if you want to use those goofy animations, don't apologize about it. Clearly, it's doing well in Korea. Like, freaking people can get over it. Female characters in Lost Ark are largely locked into outfits that seem to be designed with sex appeal in mind, which is not an issue, and have character models and animations that lack in the same direction. Community editorial coordinator Holly Green, who spent some time with Lost Ark, describes one of these animations as a horny Sailor Moon transformation sequence. Okay. Male characters have wardrobes that seem designed for fantasy warfare and do not have the same animations. I mean, this dude looks pretty hot. This dude looks pretty hot. This dude looks pretty hot. He's covered up a lot more, but still... That's the thing, is that there's different ranges. Men and women are different. What's considered sexy for a woman is going to be hyper femininity, just like what's considered sexy for men is going to be hyper masculinity. And so, yeah, that is going to look different. If you put a man in this outfit, it's not going to make him look sexier, depending on preference. But for the majority of people who are attracted to men, it's not going to flow like that. But you tell me this ain't hot? It is. Look at him. He's like, the way he stands, the way his energy, everything is just, that's part of what makes men hot. It's the demeanor, it's the manliness, all that kind of stuff. So obviously if he was wearing this, that wouldn't be the same. So... let's see what else. The Gunner and Marshal Artist classes do offer some gender parity, but a glance at Lost Ark's website shows how the male characters receive practical, battle-oriented armor and physically strong character poses. Well, duh, the physically strong poses are what makes men sexy. Strength. It's that, like... very masculine, brute strength. That's what makes men hot. Like, as part of it. And the female characters are still designed with sex appeal first. They both have sex appeal. Like, come on, dude. Address the unusual class divide by stating that Smilegate is prioritizing the addition of new gender-based classes to even out the discrepancies. So maybe they have more male-based classes than female-based classes. Okay. However, when responding to questions about Smilegate, or about why Smilegate couldn't create new gender options for classes like Warrior and Mage, his response sounded a bit like Ubisoft's classic, women are harder to animate. Comments from E3 2014. Classes are tied pretty closely to their character models in terms of function and animation. So bringing opposite gender characters to a class takes more work than making a differently gendered model available. I mean, it does make somewhat sense, but but regardless, that's how they wanted to do it. That's all that should matter. They shouldn't have to have some explanation. This is their game. If you don't like it, don't play it. But this is their game. They can make it however they want. Park did not address the fact that it is only in his situation because it opted to create such wildly different character models that needed different animation sets. He did say Smilegate will create more counterparts for gender-locked classes in the future. I mean, what this is starting to read like, all of this is that they don't want that much difference between male and female characters. They want them to essentially be the same. And this goes with the whole narrative that I feel like it's being pushed and shoved on us to make everybody this amorphous blob, genderless amorphous blob. They don't like the fact that men and women are different, and we are. Now there is a spectrum of it, so there can be some more commonalities there, but as a whole, men and women are very different. And that seems to be an issue for them for some reason. Because, I mean, I'm failing to see what is... You got this gunslinger girl here, and you got this Deadeye guy here. I'm failing to see how this is any more sexy than this. This is more sexy if you're attracted to women. But if you're attracted to men, this is more sexy. You know? It's just like... This is accentuating her curves. She's got that, like, confident femme fatale stance, all that kind of stuff. And this is a sexy dude. I just, who's very masculine looking in this. Confident, all that kind of stuff. But in terms of, I mean, I guess he's got the coat on. But still, you can, it's not that different, ultimately. Amazon Games and Smilegate are planning to release new wardrobe options to give players more choices for how they'd costume their female characters. Park also made clear that the original revealing outfits would not be removed. Thank you. Because, like, dude, if I'm going to play this game, which I have been considering, if I play as a female character especially, I want those outfits. Because I don't want no boring, covered up. I don't like the heavy... In a fantasy game that's not... That's fantastical, all that kind of stuff. I like the form-fitted outfits. I just do. Park also made clear that the original revealing outfits would not be... Yeah, I already said that. Okay, he said that more revealing options would no longer be presented in marketing for the game or in the character creator, and that's stupid that they feel like they can't use those for that. But the original wardrobe options would be quickly attainable as combat loot. The core motivation behind these changes is apparently to manage the balance of fans who want a Lost Ark experience that is close to the original Korean version and new players who may not like the current armor and costume options. So essentially, you got to baby the Americans because they want to cry, bully, and complain and all that jazz. Always how it is. You know, make a Korean developer have to change their vision, you know, that the Korean audience is fine with, but no, gotta baby the Americans because they're gonna cry about it. And that's the thing, is it's not even most of them, it's just like this select few, dude. Adding more options for players uncomfortable with the game's current offerings for female characters is a step in the right direction, but the stated motivations are absurd. See, again, you can't ever please them. Casting the differences in views about Lost Ark's character design as those preferring the original Korean version versus those who don't mask the core design decisions as being a question of different cultural takes. It's inaccurate to say that creating clear gender imbalance is some essential part of Korean game development culture, though many MMORPGs from the region feature similar gender imbalances as Lost Ark. Plenty of players have voiced frustration with this trend. Let's see what this is about. Oh, this is some VR crap. Oh my gosh, feminist frequency. Don't even get me freaking started here, bro. And he goes, unfortunately, such criticism often faces heavy backlash. Yeah, because y'all don't speak for the majority of us. That's why. It's just like you're trying to cry bully your way into controlling the entire industry. Smilegate itself has given into some of this backlash in the past, removing illustrations from its games by artists who voice support for a Korean feminist group, Magalia. Okay. Was there something wrong with these? They're cute! Yeah, my goodness, okay. Park's statement of the future of Lost Ark presents well-intended changes that don't address how it got there in the first place. Who cares? Like, why are they sitting there? This is all just a giant soapbox to, like, look down on other people and to try to act morally superior. Like, okay, well, they're changing it because we cried enough about it, but they need to address why they're so sexist and misogynistic and why I think I am morally superior to them. How my culture is more superior to their culture. That's racist, and it's just like stupid, okay? I got like, and this is the examples they used, so I would assume in the actual game itself there are probably, I'm curious to see more male options as well, and more female options as well, because they show this one singular example, which to me isn't even that drastically different. Like, the dudes still look hot. I'm very curious to see how many people play with the new outfits of the women all covered up. I would venture to say probably not many, but this kind of stuff makes me so salty because it's like, whenever these developers think that, excuse me, that the journo types and some people on Twitter, whenever they think that they reflect all of our voices, or even remotely close to half, it's frustrating because then they're tiptoeing around that, and they feel like they got to cater to these peeps, and they're ruining a lot of the experience. Like, they can ruin a lot of the experience of future games for what we want to see. And it's incredibly frustrating when it's like, okay, we're going to release the Korean version this way, and then we got to change the American version so they don't cry about it. That's annoying. I don't like it. I don't like it. And when I play like any type of MMO or something, if they've got boring outfits for women or they're all completely covered up, it makes me not even want to play them because I want to have fun with it. And they want to act like the dudes are so realistic. They're not. Like, do you realize trying to walk around in this armor and that weapon? There's nothing realistic about it. These are all like power fantasies for men, and this part of the power fantasy for women is being really hot. So, and the dudes look hot too. Like I said, that just looks different for men versus women. But it doesn't mean that they're not equal. They're different, but equal in a way. But anyway, I can go on a tangent on that. Let me go ahead and read some comments from my other videos. Dan says society is trying to no longer teach critical thinking, nor are people rewarded for achievement. We now live in a participation trophy era. People are not trained to think, nor are they willing to work hard for a reward. They want to be entertained. Dude, I'm almost burping. They want to be entertained with little to no effort. And that's why the stuff like that is so forgettable too, because like in anything in life, when you work for something, you appreciate it more. And if it's just there, so accessible, so easy, freely there and available to you, you're not going to remember it as much. And when I think about some of my best gaming moments and some of my favorite games, all that kind of stuff, it has like some difficulty to it that I had to work for beating that game. I had to work hard to do it. The ones that I had to work harder to beat the game, I tend to remember those more. Savage Mantis says, oh man, a Souls-like Tomb Raider would be so sick. Yes! I love it. I'm glad other people are seeing that. I would love to see a Souls-like Tomb Raider game. I feel like it would be so perfect. I think that, some key differences would be you'd want to be able to add some acrobatics, some more acrobatic type stuff. You want to add more puzzles and that sort of thing. But I think that the general idea, the general settings, the general enemy types, that definitely aligns with classic Tomb Raider. I think it could be done very well. Point Man says, this is what I mean when I say that game developers these days are lazy. I don't care how many hours and money you spend on graphics, animations, physics, or dialogues. If your game is designed around hints and quest markers in a way that you can't even complete some quests if you disable them, cough cough, every modern Eidos Montreal game, cough cough, your game is lazy. because you're skipping the process of producing relevant, engaging gameplay. Thank you. Freaking thank you. And that's what Crystal Dynamics does, is what so many new games do, where it's just like they have to spell everything out for you. And they want you to, if you're on a puzzle, they want you to get through it in like 5 minutes. And if that's the case, then that's not very good game design. It's just, it's simply watching a movie with extra steps. I just don't see the appeal. A Pebble Master says, I'm so glad you are encouraging us to draw near to God. Those Bible verses are lovely. Also, I'm even more excited to play Elden Ring after you pointed out that it has the OG Tomb Raider game's sense of solitude and isolation. Yes, please. Hope you enjoy it. Donald Cunningham says, great game. It's tearing my butthole asunder, but a great game. It is fun. Belly Watch says this is about leaving game devs alone. Because they aren't taking these IPs with the intention of continuing a legacy, they look at it like buying an Instagram with 50,000 followers already, thinking, okay, now if we pander to the people that aren't fans, we'll gain new fans and initially have the support of the core fans as a foundation. Then they crap on the core fans for not liking all the crap they're doing for the people they're trying to make fans. Thank you. Thank you. This is Tomb Raider. This is just Tomb Raider. This is exactly what Tomb Raider is. Okay? They took Tomb Raider, an existing IP that had a just monumental fan base, and they were transformed it into something completely different because they're wanting to reach new people, thinking that, okay, well, the old fans are just going to hop on board anyway. And initially we do. But then we get sick of it. And then they crap on us. This is exactly what's happening with Tomb Raider and a lot of other things. LionFan96 says, Tomb Raider Dark Souls, shut up and take my money. Let's go. All right, let me go ahead and hop into the verse of the day. I wanted to pick 1 Corinthians 16:13, where it says, be watchful, stand firm in the faith, act like men, be strong. I like this one because it's basically saying, like, man up, dude. And so many of the wokies hate that term. Because they don't like to, they want to wussify men, so they don't like to see the expectation that men should be strong. They don't like that. Yeah. And they also don't like men in general. So the fact of aligning men with strength, they don't like that either, because they just want to crap on men all the time. So they want to crap on men and they want to wussify them at the same time. It's just ridiculous. But I liked this because, you know, being strong is an essential quality that men should have. Now, while women should have strength as well, it's just different. Like, men and women are different. It's just how it is. And there's certain things that qualities that make women strong and that are part of our strengths that are going to be different than what qualities that would make men strong. And people don't like to hear that, a lot of the wokey crowd and stuff like that. But whenever you change the dynamic, things go crazy. And I've experienced this in multiple ways. I mean, first of all, with society, the way that that's been. Now, women can and do step up and have to man up whenever when men aren't doing that. I've had to do this. And I don't like it. I hate it, honestly. I hate it. Now, I like being strong and all that kind of stuff in general. And depending on the setting and depending on what I'm doing and this, that, and the other, yeah, I can step up to the plate. I'll do it. But when I feel like I have to be in my masculine energy, which I do feel more often now, especially being single, but even before that, I wasn't in a relationship with a particularly masculine man, so I had to be that. I had to make the big decisions. I had to provide. I had to do all that kind of stuff, and I had to do all of it, and it was miserable. It was miserable for me. I didn't feel like I could be in my feminine energy. I didn't feel like I could be as soft or nurturing as I wanted to be because I was so stuck feeling like I had to be the man. And it's like that, you know, being single. I'm 35 years old. I'm single. I ain't nobody going to take care of me but me. So, yeah, I'm in my masculine energy a lot. but I have to be. I have to protect myself. I have to take care of myself. I have to do everything like that. And I do very much miss being in more of my feminine energy, and I don't get to experience that much, and haven't been able to that much in, you know, the past like decade. I mean, to be honest. But the thing is, though, is I do feel like whenever I visit my family, for example, my dad is a very strong man. He's very masculine. And when I say that, I don't mean he's just like this aggressive meathead. And that's what people want to be so polarizing with it. But part of being masculine is being caring as well. And that's how my dad is. He takes care of the family. He also has like 3 little dogs. He takes care of them and, treats them wonderfully, spoils those dogs. And it's great. But the thing is when I visit family, I know I've got that masculine pillar, right? My dad. I know that's probably why whenever I'm visiting, I get the best sleep of my life, because I'm not worrying in the back of my mind, okay, well, what if an intruder came in? How would I protect myself? This, that, the other. That kind of stuff doesn't go through my mind, because I know my dad has it under control. I know any emergency, anything that happened in that house, my dad would have it under control, because my dad is the rock and that the head of the household. And that's such a nice place to be in, that I can just be in my feminine energy. I can be, I can be softer. I can be more nurturing. Then that makes me want to do more nurturing things. I like to cook for my family. I like to be just softer and more gentle and that kind of thing. And I like that. I really do. Now there's some sort of like variation and like spectrum of things. And so, I may not totally always be on the super extreme feminine side, and just like not every man's going to be on the super extreme masculine side. But ultimately, I do think that masculinity and femininity are both important things. And I do think that when it comes to the dynamic between men and women, when that is more off balance, and when men are acting more like women and women are acting more like men, I do not think that is healthy for society or any dynamic in a relationship. Now, whatever people want to do in their own relationships is none of my business. So if, hey, that's the kind of dynamic they want, go for it. But that's not what I want. And that's why it goes against like biology, dude. It goes against like our biological instincts and how we're programmed, because we're different. And so, yeah, that's one reason why I wanted to bring this up. And I don't know, people don't like it. Some people don't, because they think that men and women should all be treated as we are all exactly the same, and we do what we want, act how we want, and just become genderless blobs. We're all exactly the same. But I disagree with that. And I think when it comes to what the Bible speaks about dynamics and stuff with men and women, and a lot of people want to act like the Bible is sexist, and it's not. They act like they treated women as less than men, and they didn't. Anyone who's actually read the Bible can see that. And God has used women, and women have had very powerful positions and have done things that I should probably save this for another discussion so I can really get into some examples. But you'll see that the women weren't just slaves to men. They spoke out. They had their own opinions. I mean, ultimately, the dynamic was, man the head of the household and women be submissive. But that doesn't mean subservient. That doesn't mean slave. But yeah, I could go on a whole discussion about this, but I won't. That's the thing, though, is when it comes to... That is what makes dating hard as in this kind of day and age, too, is because it's like, at the same time, while I like that dynamic, whenever men aren't being men, then why would a woman have to kind of nerf herself in a way, I guess? Because here's the thing, the way I see it is like, I'm at this point, I don't want to date a man who can't be a man. If I can outman a man, I don't want him. And so the way society has made things where there aren't as many manly men anymore, it makes it tough. So it's like, it makes the dating pool smaller. Because I'm like, okay, If I'm going to outman a man and I can be a better man than a man can be, a particular man, then I don't want him. I will be single and I will just stay in my masculine energy, I guess. So, and just like I'm sure a dude who appreciates more of that dynamic that you see like in the Bible, for example, he isn't going to want to be with a woman who can't be a woman, you know? So yeah. Anyway, it's a long video. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you tomorrow. In the meantime, go boom.